My name is Ildiko Preszly. I am an actress. I'm originally from Oakland, California, and I've been living in Berlin for the past 5 years, just about. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. What else do you want to know? Start over. By the way, I'm just looking at this spot because that my eyes don't move around too much, so it's easier. Yeah. Okay. Yes, so I'm definitely a very spiritual person. I would say I always have been, in a way. Like my parents have always kind of had this belief in God and raised me with that. And then when I moved out of home, I kind of started exploring that on my own, and I sort of found this, I guess that now is a bit of a cliche, but back then it was like a new discovery. Like I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual, whatever that means. And then last year I had an accident where I technically died. So I was, I was basically dead, and they brought me back. And ever since then, my spirituality has sort of come to a different level. I graduated from drama school about 11 years ago now. Oh my God, it's already been 11 years. I've, had many jobs in like film, TV, theater. I also did some musical. And for the past 8 years, I've been doing a lot of motion capturing, which is like work for, animated films and video games, which I'm also currently doing at the moment. I can tell you what I have never done so far, which is like playing a nude scene, playing like a kind of, heavy sex scene or whatever like that. I've never done. And I always ask myself, like, if I was offered a role in like a really good movie, like really something that would help my career, that would pay well, what would I do? Like, would I just do it? And I have no idea. I would have to find out when it happens. But it's something I would definitely be a little bit afraid of. When you really have an inspiration and you really want to know, like, and you really know you want to tell this story, right? And you have an idea and like a vision. And I think if you really have that and it comes from that place, then it will be a great, something great will come out in the end because, there's many reasons people make films, and I believe that if that is your drive, then you will accomplish something really good. Yeah. So the process of how the lead actor was cast was really interesting because there were different ideas, and I also remember that we were talking about, like, I suggested someone who was actually amazing, who just really didn't have time, and then there were like different, because there was a certain look that was the idea of someone, looking Greek or whatever. And as it is, a lot of the times things turn out completely differently. And in this case, it was really interesting because who ended up getting cast as the lead role was actually the director in the play that I was in, after which I got approached by the director of this film, right? So is everyone still following me? So it was a really interesting experience to be acting alongside my former director, who was playing my director in the film. To him, like, the cause being his film, in most cases, in this case anyway, but in most cases, it sort of stands above everything else. And he also sacrifices a lot for it, like he will basically travel the world like he did, right? Like he just came to Berlin to find his actress / lover again, and his crew, and to make it happen. So he's very determined. He's very much of a boss type, I would say. I believe that the suitcase is it's like this blessing and this curse at the same time, It's almost like, I don't know. It's like, when you really, really want something and then it happens and then you're like, fuck, why did I even ask for this? I feel like that's kind of what the suitcase is a little bit. I was asked at some point just to draw a random card and just put it there, and like the devil card showed up. So the devil, he's following us. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, in the end, it's just really all about what everything is kind of what we make of it, right? And I also believe, like, what, like with Athena, like losing your vision is very much like losing control, right? So in the end, it's like, what is underneath that when you're afraid to lose your vision? It's like, what does that mean? So in the end, it's all about just losing that control, because she needs to see her environment, because she has very deep insecurities, I guess. I believe that I definitely believe that there's a different dimension, different layer to things, aside from the one that we see, aside from the physical one. Yes. I think it's really important to understand that as human beings, we're not meant to always be in that high level. And I think to stop judging when we're not, and to be okay with not being perfect, whether it comes to your spirituality or anything else, for me, right now it always changes, right? But that's all I need. And it doesn't mean that I'm always happy and blissful, but it means that I always understand what something means. And I used to attach very different meanings to myself and to my like emotional states, because like I'm a very emotional person. Being here and having this human experience, that's exactly what it's about. It's really about not being perfect, and it's really about, because once we leave this once we leave this earth, once we leave this physical body, our, like, what you want to call your higher self or your inner being or whatever, that is like pure bliss and happiness anyway. So once we what we call die happens, then we're going to have that experience anyway. But being here on planet Earth, we're not really meant to have that experience. Like what you could call, like, some call it contrast, whatever you want to call it, is really important for us to have the exact experience that we're having here, to figure out what it is that we want to live here, and that includes knowing what we don't want, that includes unpleasant experiences, and no matter what it is that you're experiencing at the moment, to just not judge that, and to be like, okay, yeah, this is, sad, doesn't feel good, but there's really no other place than this earth where you could feel that, and we're going to die anyway.